What's good, y'all? Welcome back to a brand new video, and today we're talking about the NBA trade deadline. We're a couple weeks away from maybe your favorite team getting better, or in my case, my favorite team getting worse. Yeah, I love this time of the year. So in this video, I'm be naming some players that I expect to get traded before the trade deadline, and expect a lot of moves this year. I got that feeling that a lot of things are gonna go down at the trade deadline. Y'all remember a couple years ago, like right in the last minute before the trade deadline, like 4 all-star or 4 good point guards got traded. Isaiah Thomas got traded, Goran Dragic got traded, Brandon Knight got traded, and that time Brandon Knight was alright. But yeah, we're almost close to that time. Before I get into the players that I think are going to get moved, let's talk about the craziest situation for the trade deadline. One team has to make a major decision, and that's the Cleveland Cavaliers. Y'all saw last night? Yeah, the Cleveland Cavaliers gave up 148 points to the OKC Thunder. Now, when you see the number of a team giving up 148 points, I immediately think of two things. One, well, we're talking about one of the worst teams in the league, right? We're talking about a team like the Sacramento Kings, the Orlando Magic, that occasionally just don't come to play defense. Yeah, they give up 148 points. But no, we're talking about a team that's contender. And the second thing I think about, if you're giving up 148 points, I'm thinking this game went to overtime, potentially double overtime. The Cavs gave up 148 points in regulation. They need some help. If they plan on winning this championship this year, they need to make some major moves to their roster. And this is why I say this is the most intense storyline when it comes to the trade deadline, because y'all know they got that Brooklyn Nets first round pick. Right now, it is projected to be the 7th overall pick, but if I had to guess, it's going to be into the top 5 because of some of the players that's on my list that will be traded that are helping the Brooklyn Nets win games, okay? So the Cavs have to decide, do we trade this Brooklyn pick, or do we keep it in case LeBron leaves? It's a crazy storyline because people want that Brooklyn pick. They could turn that Brooklyn pick to a pretty nice player to help them win this year. Or they could keep it and draft a pretty nice player in this upcoming draft. So that's one of the most amazing storylines right now. I cannot wait to see what Kobe Altman, I think that's the GM of the Cleveland Cavaliers in this moment. Can't wait to see what he's doing. He's probably losing sleep over what he should do, because right now, yeah, the Cavs are one of the worst defenses in the league. They need some help if they want to contend. But let me do my shout out to the day, and now we'll transition to the first player on my list. I'll get it out of the way. The first player on my list is Niko Mirotic. Y'all know, as a Bulls fan, I've been waiting for the day for us to trade him. Not because we don't like him. Trust me, Chicago loves Niko, but he just doesn't fit the current situation of our team. Believe it or not, Niko is one of the main reasons why we winning games right now. Dude is having a career year, averaging 17 points per game. And let me play y'all a clip from, if y'all don't remember, I went to the Zach LaVine Bulls debut game. It was an amazing game. It went down to the wire. Let me play y'all a clip that not a lot of people noticed in that video. Now, after we got the game-winning stop, the whole arena celebrating, the whole team is in the middle of the court dancing around, Niko went to the locker room. It is no secret that he does not want to be a part of this team. He came out and just said it like, yo, I'm requesting a trade. So I'm 1000% sure before the trade deadline, he will not be a Bull. So let me think, situations where I personally would like to see him go. Not saying that this is where he's going to get traded to, but the #1 team I think that he should be looking forward to getting traded to would be the Minnesota Timberwolves, all right? The Minnesota Timberwolves are the second to last 3-point shooting team in the league behind the New York Knicks. They make 8 threes a game, which is not good, but y'all know the team is really good. But in today's age, you need to be able to make some outside shots. You know who makes a lot of outside shots? Niko. He's averaging 3 threes a game by himself. You add that to the Minnesota Timberwolves, he ain't even got to start. You can still keep Taj as a starting power forward. He could be a nice player off your bench to give you a nice little spark, because that's what he's been doing to us. 17 points per game off our bench. Now, as far as a trade situation for him, I'm not one of the Bulls fans that think that we deserve a top pick for Niko. It's just not realistic. Now, here's the idea that I'm thinking about. Gorgui Dieng. Y'all overpaid him. Y'all overpaid the heck out of him. Right now, he's actually having a career low year. Give him to us with a protected first-round pick. Minnesota Timberwolves, y'all gonna make the playoffs this year. That first-round pick that y'all gonna have is gonna be a 20 or a 15 through 30 first-round pick. Y'all don't need that. Send it our way and get rid of the contract that is Gorgui Dieng, and we have a deal, at least if I was the GM. Other teams that I've been thinking about Niko are the Utah Jazz, the Detroit Pistons. Basically, I just think we deserve a mid to late first round pick for him, and I'm happy as a Bulls fan. Let's move on to the second player. Now, the second guy on my list is Tyreke Evans. The Memphis Grizzlies went out and gave the dude a 1-year deal. Basically took a flyer on him because Tyreke Evans in his career has been known as a guy that cannot stay on the floor. Rookie year was amazing, averaged 20 points per game his rookie year, but now we are year 7, year 8, year 9, and he's never really lived up to that until this year. He has been balling in Memphis, and I think it's time. I think it's time to just blow it up. Now, I know it's going to be hard for you to trade Marc Gasol or Mike Conley, and that's why they're not on my list, but a guy that y'all could definitely move and trade high is Tyreke Evans, because the dude has been a baller this year for y'all, averaging basically 20 points per game, just like his rookie year. I think it's time to blow it up. And one of the main reasons I have him on this list is because next year, the Memphis Grizzlies don't have their own first-round pick. And I'm telling you, next year, they're not going to be a better team than they are right now. If you trade him for next year first-round pick, I think Memphis Grizzlies fans should be happy. So that's why he's on this list. I think you can trade him to a contender. Like, honestly, I think he deserves to be on a contender, and he can really help a contender team compete even more. Next guy on my list is Kent Bazemore. The Atlanta Hawks are one of the teams out there that are selling. They got guys like Ersan Ilyasova, Marco Bellinelli, and Kent Bazemore that they're looking to trade at the trade deadline. And they made it no secret that they tanking. They are basically the worst team in the league right now. And if you get rid of Kent Bazemore for a young piece, or like a bad young piece, or a future first rounder, second round pick, whatever, well, you're going to be even worse because Kent Bazemore actually has some game. So trade him. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if you can get a first round pick for him, a late first rounder, but if you can turn him into 2 seconds or whatever, I think it is a good trade for the Atlanta Hawks. So him, Ersan Ilyasova, Marco Bellinelli, honestly, all 3 of them could get traded at the trade deadline. And honestly, those are 3 guys that can help a contender team. Kent Bazemore, I always have looked at Kent Bazemore as a 3-and-D type of guy. Now, I know he's not amazing at the 3, but when I say 3-and-D, I more mean like a mid-range jumper in the D, all right? So that's the type of guy he is. Trade him. Next on my list is the biggest name, Kimball Walker. Let me play a clip from Through the Wire episode 1. If y'all don't know, Through the Wire is a podcast that I host that actually just dropped a new episode today. Link is in the description. Episode 1, which is recorded September. Let me play a clip for y'all.
Kimball Walker.
You give them anything except Jokic and Millsap. Whatever they want. If you can put out Kimball Walker, Millsap, and Jokic,
oh yeah,
and you might still have Gary. If you can give them Jamal, I would say, listen, pick from Jamal Murray.
Jamal Murray's valuable, so yeah, I can see them.
Pick one of those. We'll give you a first round. Give you Moody, and we'll give you Fareed. Hell, if you want to, we give you Will Barton.
So in that moment in time, me and my co-host knew that this team, the Charlotte Hornets, they were not going to work, and they have not worked. And it was they were going to end up having rumors that Kimball Walker was being traded. And the first team on our list was the Denver Nuggets. Now, I still think the Denver Nuggets will be a match made in heaven, but if you look at the rumors, nobody has mentioned the name Denver Nuggets. You heard the main team I've heard was the New York Knicks. Sure. But I think it's match made in heaven for the Denver Nuggets. You think about a trade like this, a first-round pick, because right now the Denver Nuggets are underperforming, mostly because Paul Millsap has been injured. But Emmanuel Mudiay, either Juancho Hernan-Gomez or Malik Beasley, let them take the pick, a first-rounder, and maybe a guy like Kenneth Fareed. I think you got a deal. Now, I know Kimball Walker has expressed that he does not want to be traded. He loves Charlotte, and I love that about Kimball Walker, that he's that dedicated. But in reality, Kimball, you should be wanting to win games, and you have not been able to do that in Charlotte, at least in the past couple years. Go to a team that you can legitimately play around NBA players that can help you out. I think the Denver Nuggets are that perfect team. My co-host Pierre would say the New York Knicks, which I could see how that could be beneficial for him. He's playing with one of the unicorns, Kristaps, and then Tim Hardaway Jr. has been too bad. Kimball will be traded, and who we end up on is the real question, but expect him to get traded at this deadline. Next, we got George Hill. George Hill had a phenomenal year last year with the Utah Jazz, so much that the Sacramento Kings like, here, take this paycheck. And he was like, Sacramento, they don't got the best history when it comes to players. But how much money you say? All right, deal. And at the moment, I was a big fan of the signing because I really liked George Hill last year, because with the Utah Jazz, he's just really good. He averaged like 17 points per game. He's one of those guys that is a hound on defense. So I was like, okay, yeah, Sacramento, you can get that, especially when I heard that they drafted De'Aaron Fox. Because, you know, you can teach De'Aaron Fox how to be a hound on defense. But once the season started, he started on a slump. I think he went the first 30 games without making a 3-point shot or something like that. That's crazy. Trade him away. Trade him away. Like right now, the Sacramento Kings should just be like, okay, it didn't work out. Let's just give the keys to De'Aaron Fox. Let him be the 1 point guard on our roster. And I think that's what they're going to do. There have been rumors for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I think that would be a match made in heaven because, like I said, 148 points. Isaiah Thomas is not a defending point guard, but to have a backup point guard that can defend would be beneficial to that team. And George Hill can defend the heck out of a ball. So if Cavaliers would be a match made in heaven. What would they trade to pick him up? I don't know. I guess Sacramento would want some expiring contracts, so you can trade a Channing Frye or something like that, and an Iman Shumpert and maybe a second-round pick or something. I don't know what the deal would look like, but I think it is a very realistic destination, and I think it may be something we see before the deadline. Next, we got Wesley Matthews. Now, similar to the Kim Bazemore situation, Wesley Matthews is one of those guys that's like a 3-and-D guy that can really help a contender. Trade him away, Dallas. We know what you're doing, Dallas. Don't try to be sly. I think actually Mark Cuban came out and said it finally that they're tanking. But nonetheless, yes, you are tanking. You want to have a high draft pick. Dirk is probably going to retire this year. Dennis Smith Jr. has been looking good, but you want to add another piece through the draft that you can build around him and Harrison Barnes with. So trade away Wesley Matthews, lose more games, and I think you'll be happy. Now, the next guy on my list is a crazy story, all right? So the Toronto Raptors overpaid DeMarre Carroll in the offseason. They was looking for that wing defender that'll put them over the hump. They overpaid him, and he underperformed in Toronto. Now, they were looking like, man, we got to get rid of this contract, and we got to give up a first-round pick to get rid of his contract. So they did. They sent DeMarre Carroll and a first-round pick to Brooklyn. Now, y'all know Brooklyn does not have many first-round picks, or at least not this year. They don't have their own. Next year, they get their first one because Billy King just basically screwed up the future of the Brooklyn Nets. But Sean Marks picked up the phone, was like, did you say first-round pick? We'll take on DeMarre Carroll's terrible contract if you said first-round pick. Deal. DeMarre Carroll comes to Brooklyn, and he balls the heck out. Sean Marks will probably get another first-round pick for DeMarre Carroll. That is great general manager, taking a chance on a guy that's overpaid, get a first-round pick for him, and then trade him away for another first-round pick. That's great GM, and Sean Marks deserves some love for that. So that's why he's getting in this video. DeMarre Carroll, another guy similar to the other guys on this list with the Wesley Matthews and the Kim Bazemore that can really help a contender team. How would they make a deal because of his contract? I don't really know, but trust me, he's one of the guys that I think are going to be on the move before February 8th. Now, the last guy on the list that I want to see move is Billy or Willie Hernan-Gomez, all right? And I don't think there have been rumors about Hernan-Gomez being traded, but personally, I was impressed with his play his rookie year. And it was so surprising to me that right now, in his sophomore year, he's not even in the rotation. Inez Kentrell came to the team and just basically started dominating as far as like center minutes. And then O'Quinn is there too. Hernan-Gomez is completely out of the rotation. And I look at him the way I look at Jahlil Okafor. He deserves a chance somewhere else. Now, Jahlil Okafor got a chance somewhere else, and he hasn't been great. Maybe Hernan-Gomez goes somewhere else and he's not great either, but he deserves a chance because that rookie year was actually a pretty good year. I think he was second-team All-NBA rookie. He deserves to play somewhere. Trade him away, even if that means trading him to Charlotte for Kimball Walker. You know, you can make a deal happen to let him be happy in his situation. Now, that's pretty much it, guys. Notice that I didn't say DeAndre Jordan or Jordan Clarkson or guys that we just know are probably going to get traded. I just picked some of my favorite names and storylines or locations that I can see these players get moved. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. But before we get out, I think I mentioned it earlier. We did drop the newest episode of the Through the Wire podcast, and it's actually a really good episode. And I did an interview with TGTV. He's another YouTuber here, and he's got a series named Behind the Camera where he's basically interviewing different YouTubers. First, he had Jesser on his show, which is a great episode, and the episode that actually just dropped is with me. So if you want to hear more behind the scenes with me and my channel, I'll put the link in the description. I'll also add the end card, so after this video, you just click on it, go watch it, show him love. Go in the comments of his video and hashtag Team No Overtime. I want y'all to take over his video and show the love, okay? I really appreciate it. Thank y'all so much. I'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully? Tomorrow.
And I don't wear 2 chains, but I'm a hell weave killer. And I ain't playing no games, so we ain't sparing these niggas. Pockets flat like tires, go put some in these niggas. Bunch of Newport 100, so much square in these